Yeah, I am a third generation commercial beekeeper. I run about 5,000 colonies in west central Minnesota. And we have bee yard locations spread throughout maybe like a 75-mile radius of where we are. And on my property where I personally live, I have about 60 acres of land, and I have a bee yard location there. And it's kind of a rolling, sandy, gravelly hills, not the greatest farmland. I purchased the property probably about, I think back in 2006. And then for about 12 years or so, we ran it in the 18 acres, or the tillable part. We ran that for as corn and soybeans for a couple of years, and then put it into alfalfa. That's what I wanted. I wanted to have some benefit for the bees. So, and that was back before I knew about the bee and butterfly habitat program. So we went with alfalfa, and the orders to the farmer were let it bloom as much as you can so that the bees got maximum benefit. So we ended up just going with 2 cuttings a year, so we got a little bloom out of it. And then I learned about the bee and butterfly habitat program, and I thought, hey, that sounds like a really great program. So I took my 18 acres, and what you do is you divide it half and half. There's half of the planting is designed for honeybees, and the other half is for monarch butterflies and other native insect specific plantings. So
Mhm.
I did that, or I got set up. I'd seen Pete Berthelsen speak many times at various beekeeping meetings, and he was pushing the program pretty well. So I thought I gave it a go, and so far I've been pretty happy with it.
Great. And so can you tell us about um, site prep and then how those plantings have progressed over the years?
Yeah, okay. So we started out, like I said, it was alfalfa. So uh, from there, I knew at that point that I'd made the decision I wanted to do the B and B, the butterfly. So I got set up with that. I got out, knew that I was going to get the seeds. So the year before we did that, we put it into soybeans. And so the whole 18 acres went into soybeans. And then that was cut in the fall, and we just left the stubble there. And that went over the winter. And when spring came, we just left it. And I had them come in, and they hit it with glyphosate. The whole as the weeds started coming up, we hit that. And then I had a little bit of a delay. That happened, I think, must have been early May when the first when we sprayed it, and that killed everything. But then there was a delay with the seed. So I didn't get the seed until the first few days of June. So, and then there were some weeds were starting to come up again a little bit. But I went ahead and I used a no-till drill. I rented that from the NRCS office. They brought that out, and that worked pretty well. I have a tractor, so I just did the whole thing. And I put that right in, and it was amazing. The first year I saw success with it. I saw just incredible stuff come up.
Hmm.
It was really nice to see.
And when was that first year?
That was 2018.
Okay. And then how has it progressed? What does it look like now?
I tell you what, in particular the 9 acres for the monarch side and the native insect side looks just incredible. And I've done nothing other than walk through it, and manually I've kind of pulled thistles. I do that every year. I go through it. If I get thistles, I'll go through and I'll pull some of those out. But for the most part, I've done nothing else with that, and that looks really good. It's just runs itself. The honeybee side has been a little bit more of a challenge for me. I haven't been quite as satisfied with the first year. Was great. It was just right. And then the second year I started to lose a little bit of some of the bloom there. There's a little alfalfa in there. Um, there's some various other like red clovers, and I think there's some crimson clover, which doesn't do real well up here in the Northland. It seems like I take bees to South Mississippi, and crimson clover is fantastic down there. It grows everywhere, but it doesn't quite seems like it doesn't grow as well here. But that one's been a little more of a challenge. But what I did learn is if I cut it, and that's kind of what I've been doing now with the honeybee side of it. I've divided it into basically 3 sections. So right when the first hay crop comes off, I'll cut 1/3 of it, and I'll do that about raise it up about 10 inches or so that it's still pretty long, and then I'll cut that, and then I'll wait a couple weeks, and then I'll do the next section, and then I'll cut that, and then another couple 2 or 3 weeks and do the last section. That way, that first section, by the time I'm doing the last, that first one starts blooming again. Some of that shorter alfalfa, the alfalfa will come up again a little shorter, and it'll start blooming, and that seems to be working
Yeah, and
pretty
then
well.
how do your bees like it? Are you seeing bees in there? But what about monarch butterflies?
I've seen both for sure. The honeybees seem to go to both sides pretty well. But the monarch butterflies, of course, they like the other side where there's a lot of more of the native plantings in it. That seems like that's pretty good. The first year I had it was pretty great, and I took a little video of it. We came up through the woods. We kind of, our driveway comes through the woods, and then the field is off to the left, and there was just a really nice little a little cloud of monarch butterflies that came up out of the woods, and we'd never seen that before. So that we thought right away, hey, this is a success right out of the gun here. So that was pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing that and for being a friend of the pollinators.
Sure.
And anything else that lessons learned or interesting things that you'd like to pass on to other people considering putting in habitat?
Well, the whole process, I've got to say, was really easy, and I'm very, very happy with. I didn't have to at the point when I got into it, I didn't have to pay anything for the seed. I was lucky that way. I got in on the only thing I paid for was the spraying and the rental of the no-till drill, which was almost nothing. So that was
Yeah.
it was very easy to get that set up.
Yeah, and I still think that they're doing free seed for 25 acres or less.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
I gotta
we'll
say, my wife and I, we just love it. I've got a couple paths that I've mowed through it, and we've got nice hilly terrain, and to walk through there in the summertime and see all the different insects and the birds. The birds just love it. There's birds everywhere out there, and the deer love it too, all year round. It's food for them in the winter. They're constantly out there.
well, that's great. Well, thanks for all you do and for your time today, and hopefully others will follow in your footsteps and put some habitat in the ground.
Sure. Yeah, I highly recommend it.
All right, thank you.
You bet.